Guys, my name is Muni Matikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about the Senzo Meyiwa trial because what is this that we are watching, guys? This is not a trial. This is something that is collapsing right in front of our very own eyes. Okay, let's stop pretending. Let's stop dancing around the obvious and let's finally call a spade, period. Because what we are watching here is not justice. It's not a justice unfolding. It is credibility collapsing every day. Ne? And this is where we are and why. Let's talk about it. We are told to believe that this case is complicated, that is dragging because it's serious, that justice simply takes time. That's a lie, guys. That is a lie. This case is here, right here. It is right here, right now, because of people, not complexity. Where it is right now, everything that is happening is because of people, because of investigators who chose a theory before they chose facts, and also because of prosecutors who defended that theory, and instead of testing it, they went with it. And yes, we are here because of Brigadier Bongani Gininda and Advocate Baloyi. No fate, no bad luck, not delays. Decisions were taken by those two people. That is why we are here. And confessions will never be a case. Confessions are not a case. They will never be, no matter what. Strip this case to the bone and ask a simple question. What survives without confessions? Not speculations, not stories, not reconstructions, real evidence. Is there any evidence that talks to this case? And that's the problem right there. Because when a case leans this heavily on statements that are constitutionally contested, you are no longer prosecuting facts. You are defending a process, a failing process. And once the court becomes a place where the state explains itself, how it got where it is, instead of proving its case, the balance is already lost. There is nothing to prove, there's nothing to fight for there. And also, we are dealing with credentials that don't mean immunity here. We're dealing with that. We are told to be impressed by titles, by degrees, by so-called experts. That's what we are told in this court and in this case. But education does not replace integrity. It will never do. There are so many educated people without integrity. We have so many people who are educated fools also. And credentials do not excuse nonsense. That's not what they do with credentials. If you are highly trained and still participate in things that collapse under basic scrutiny, then the problem is not ignorance. It's a choice. You chose to be in that position. And the court is not a resume. And it's not a resume review. That's not where you review problems. That's not where you check, does this qualify? No. It's a truth testing arena. That's what it is, a courtroom. And a judge must control a case. A judge must control a case. A judge has one sacred duty: to protect relevance. To protect relevance. Time is not infinite. It's not. Court is not a playground, and a trial is not a documentary series. That is not what it is. About everything that has ever happened when it comes to whatever people want to narrate and say it happened, that is not what the courtroom is for. It's not. It's not a stage. When years of 2018, 2019, 2020 are allowed to dominate a case about one night, one date, one crime that happened back in 2014, ay, my daughter. And no one is asking anything. No one is asking, where are you going with this? Why does this matter? How does this prove the charge, the murder of the 26th of October? Then there is something that has gone wrong with Judge Rata. Something has gone wrong with him. Then something is internally wrong. Internally, it's very wrong. And this is not firmness. This is not patience. This is abdication at its best. And when relevance dies, justice follows it. It dies with it. You take it to the grave with it because it doesn't make sense what is happening. And let us be clear, you cannot casually implicate uh, people in things that have nothing to do with them. You can't. And if you would remember that when that week came where Utefo spoke about, it was posted that Utefo has opened a case about 3 judges and 35 million rand. I don't think you can casually implicate senior judges, judicial leaders, or institutions without evidence. There is something cooking behind the scenes. As much as he wrote what he wrote there, but there is something that is cooking behind the scenes. Something. That kind of talk destroys lives if it's reckless. I don't think that Utefo is just all talk when it comes to that for no reason. I don't think so. But here is the danger. When judicial conduct itself start raising questions, not about outcomes, about processes, public trust does not erode loudly. It erodes quietly. And we've been watching. We see the things that are happening. And once people can no longer separate what they are seeing now and from what happened before, the system doesn't break. It leaks from within. It leaks from within. That is the things that we are suffering and the things that we are witnessing as South Africans currently. This is not about convictions. This is not about acquittals. This is about whether when the verdict finally comes, anyone will believe it was clean. That is where we are, because justice delayed is not just justice denied. Justice confused is justice destroyed. Those are the worries that are there when it comes to the entire Senzo Meyiwa case. Those are the stressors that are sitting there. This is not a trial anymore. This is a warning, and history is already watching, and history will judge people harshly for the things that they have done when it comes to this case. They will be judged. They will be judged. So when you are watching the Senzo Meyiwa case with an open mind, you start wondering and you start questioning a lot of things because you are sitting there thinking, what is going on? What is this? What have we gotten ourselves into as a country? What have the people that have the power to end the nonsense, that have the power to rule and work things out, what have they gotten themselves into? Why is everything going the way it is? Once we reach that stage, things don't look normal anymore. Things don't become normal anymore. Things start being questionable all the way up. All the way up, things start being questionable all the way up. That's what happens here. So I don't know about you, but me, I'm so worried about our country. I'm so worried about the outcomes of things that are happening now and about the future. About the future, what's going to happen? What's going to happen when these things are not dealt with thoroughly and when these things are not sorted out right here, right now, as they are happening? What's going to happen? What kind of a future our children are going to arrive in? What kind of a future? Did Abo Govan Begi, Abo Mandela, Abo Walter Sisulu, Abo bonke nje the people amaqhawe oluthuli bonke nje oMoses Mabhida oNoxolo Xawuka bonke nje did they fight for this? Or Charlotte Maxeke, is this what they fought for? Is this what they had in mind? Are these the things that they foresaw that were going to happen? Wonga amaqhawe alalela lento. The people that lost lives, is this what they lost lives for? The people that didn't have their families, is this what it has become? Really? So, Nje, there's a lot of things that are stressful, that are worrisome, that are making you wonder a lot of things, ask a lot of questions because what the hell is this? What the hell is this? Do you understand? Anyway, what are your thoughts when it comes to this? Let's talk comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. Do enjoy your day. Bye-bye.